as long as you're like happy with what you're doing and as long as you're doing something that's meaningful for you, then I feel like that makes you a girl boss. I'm Parastoo and I'm the editor-in-chief of the Pine Log newspaper. The Pine Log is printed every Wednesday, and you can find it on stands all over campus, and you can also find us on our Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter, or our website, thepinelog.com. I hope to work for a newspaper or a magazine or do online content, but if I'm writing, I'll be happy. I'm really boring. I do a lot of homework, and a lot of time I'm just procrastinating in between homework assignments. In my free time, I like to spend time with my family and my friends and read and write, which kind of sounds like what I would do in school anyway, but I also do that in my free time. I really like to read, novels, and I really like to read news articles, and I get sidetracked. I'll read one article and then I'll get hooked onto another article, and I enjoy hanging out with my cat, Tina. I love him. Wow, it's so hard because I'm just so impressed by so many women all the time. The first one that came to mind was Marjan Satrapi. She's an author, and she's Persian, and she also directed a movie, I think, and she's really cool. She wrote this cool novel about an Iranian girl. It was the first time I ever read a book about an Iranian girl, and I'm like, I'm an Iranian girl, and I got really emotional. And then I really like Emma Watson. She's a UN ambassador for women's rights and things like that. I'm really impressed by Michelle Obama. I don't know, I just love when women do cool things. I feel like we should all just do cool things and embrace our power. I think it's important to have strong female role models, because if you don't have anything that you can step up to, you don't really know what you're capable of. I think it's really hard to be the first person to have to do something, because a lot of people are going to hold you back and say, well, is that really something that girls should do, because a girl's never been the leader of this organization, or a girl's never ran a marathon, or a girl's never done what have you. So the first time you have to do it, it's just a real pain, I imagine. And it might be cool afterwards, but during the entire process you might be completely miserable. But I think it's important for other girls to be able to look at people who've done something important and say, well, I can do something important. It's important for everybody to have role models, role models of your race and role models of your gender, role models of your sexual orientation, because it just opens up the way for you to be able to do those kind of things too. I think journalism has always been important. Journalism is just another aspect of telling people what's going on and telling people the story of the day. And a lot of people might be well, you can just go out there and figure out what's happening day to day, but journalism kind of brings you the information, and usually it's objective and it has every aspect of the story that you need to draw your own conclusions. But I think objective news really opens up people's minds and lets people know what's going on around the world, and they have to know what's going on in the world, because there's things that affect you that you wouldn't realize affect you, or things that would motivate you to change things that you wouldn't know without journalism. I don't even know where to go with this. There's so many important things about journalism. It tells people's stories, and it can be such a small issue in a larger scale. One person's story who's a refugee from a country can completely change your mindset of how you see refugees, because you can hear so many people died in an earthquake, that's the news story, but and that's journalism. But then it becomes even more important, because then you can know individual people's story, and people who wouldn't normally be able to just tell the whole world, but with journalism they can tell the whole world what's going on. And I just want the world to be a better place. Everyone just wants the world to be a better place, so I think journalism is a driving force behind that. So I think in today's society we need to know what's happening in the world so that we can actively work toward fixing it and making it a better place.
What defines a girl boss for you?
I would say just someone who tries to make themselves a better person by being more confident in their abilities without trying to take away from other people's confidence. I think if you're the kind of person who can just go in the world and inspire others and be the best you can be, then you're a girl boss, I'm just really grateful for this position that I have, and for working for the newspaper and being able to meet people and being in the position where I get to talk to other people. But I'm not really particularly different from anyone else just because I'm an editor-in-chief. Anyone who cares about something and works towards something, they can it's not an instant gratification oh, you're just absolutely gonna get whatever you want. I'm sure you're probably gonna fail a bunch of times and embarrass yourself a billion times. But I think if you can get past any kind of humiliation or any kind of fear of failure, it's worth it to just try. No matter what the situation is, it's always good to try, improve, and try to get what you want. And if it doesn't work out, then hopefully you have, friends and family that'll give you ice cream and cry with you. I think keeping a girl boss mentality kind of just relies on taking care of yourself and making sure that all of your needs are taken care of, like you're eating, you're drinking water, you're getting enough rest, and you're spending time with people and doing things outside of your workplace, but at the same time you're putting in the work that you need to do to improve and stay on top of it. And even if you're not in like a position of power, and even if you're like the lowest person on the totem pole, as long as you're like happy with what you're doing, and as long as you're doing something that's meaningful for you, then I feel like that makes you a girl boss. I'm Parastoo and I'm a girl boss, and you're all girl bosses. I gotta stop doing this.
Redo it.
Not like directly like.
I hope you know I'm recording all this.
You know what?
There better not be a blooper reel.
Oh, there will be.
Man.